Hi everybody. So this is going to be a reading for Scorpio, the first one for the channel. Just getting back from work, and I think that sometimes these readings are just going to be best like whenever I can fit them in and stuff. So it's going to be sort of like a different kind of vibe, I think, every time of day, and not necessarily always coming on the same day because I do have a full-time job that a lot of other tarot readers also have, which I think is such a great and beautiful part of this. What I found to be sort of like a spiritual art and form of entertainment is that people who do tarot readings are, usually not just, tarot or, occult kind of occult science kind of people, and they really have, this tremendous wealth of skills, and their lives bleed into, which is interesting for parts of this reading. But their lives really go into many different directions, and so there's no one idea of really any one person, but especially and even people who are into things like astrology and cosmology and tarot and numerology and things like that. So let's just get into the reading. So this is going to be a reading for Scorpio. I like to just do a Celtic cross. I am pretty new. Okay, we'll just start with that. Sometimes as a Gemini sun, and right now it's a Gemini moon, so everyone kind of gets the archetype, when moon phases change. Sometimes Geminis have a lot to say, and I don't like that people kind of make fun of them for how much they say, because there's a lot of information to share, just not enough time to do it. But sometimes, the spirits say like, okay, enough of that. There's high vibe and low vibe of everything. And so this is beautiful that Scorpio just really wanted to pop out today. The past couple readings I did were during a Taurus moon. Things were kind of like slower. I had to be more intentional about pulling, but for Scorpio, things just wanted to pull out today. So let's see what's going on for Scorpio. Scorpio is the fixed water. Some characterize it as the swamp, and swamps are actually very beautiful and very deep. So for the present energy right now, Scorpio, you have the Eight of Wands, which is kind of like moving fast. A lot of people say that this is sort of like about fast communication coming in, but also just some sort of passionate energy, not really any kind of question about what's, if things are moving fast or slow, or where they are when the Eight of Wands kind of shows up. This is fire energy, really moving forward with some kind of communication, some kind of passion. So moving it is kind of what the Eight of Wands shows to me, moving it and with passion. Right now, the challenge is the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is kind of like, can be like a cutting kind of energy where you can be standing in an energy or feeling this energy where you are working to be like right about things. The swords are about air, the Gemini moon. You're working to be accurate and right about what you're doing, but at the end of the day, you might actually end up, this person looks very victorious with their couple of swords, but then they're losing these people as they walk away. So sort of, making sure that we're sharing our truth, but also making sure that we're not losing people unnecessarily in the process of that. And that's the challenge. In the past, so 2 eights here. So in the past has the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is kind of like this person is blindfolded, kind of trapped by these, feeling sort of trapped by these swords around them, and not realizing that they can really just take off this blindfold. They can, take out one of the stakes from the ground. They can move between the swords and, get out of this prison, but sort of feeling like kind of trapped in a situation, not really realizing that it's something that you can kind of get yourself out of sometimes, but it's much easier said than done. So moving from this point of being trapped with the eights to another eight, feeling like you want to like move forward, keep it moving, and in the future, kind of this feeling of some sort of like love lost. I really need to look more deeply into the Two of Cups, because in the upright, the Two of Cups can often be said like, oh, a perfect partnership and pure love and things like that. So the Two of Cups in reverse, too simply can be, talking about a love lost. But this can be like a feeling of creativity lost or love lost in a real relationship, not necessarily always romantic, but feeling the sensation of sort of like love lost or not pursued in the ways that you would have hoped, or maybe kind of giving that, you know, energy of partnership more to yourself, which is another way that I like to see the cards in reversed. But this is something that I'll definitely be looking kind of more into as I develop in my tarot journey, but sort of like a feeling of love, love not quite attained, love lost in possibly a partnership with a romantic person or platonic or familial or something like that. So feeling trapped, wanting to move forward, but in the future kind of feeling like what could be coming up is like a sense of a love lost. In the upright, in the above energy, in your conscious energy, you have the Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups is about all of these choices. And there are so many choices to pick from. You don't necessarily know which one to choose. You're kind of pondering all of them, but not necessarily feeling like overwhelmed by that choice, like stuck by that choice, but kind of like looking at all of the options you have and really wondering what's the best way to move forward next, especially if you're standing in something like this Eight of Wands energy where you're really wanting to move fast. You're seeing how many you're wanting to move fast, you're feeling like you're in like a fast energy of communication, of passion, but you have all of these options, not necessarily sure which one to choose, but that doesn't necessarily feel like a problem to you in your conscious energy, what the world is kind of seeing. Interesting, you have another 8 here in reverse in your subconscious energy, kind of what you might be keeping to yourself or not necessarily be fully conscious is going on, is the 8 of Pentacles in the reverse. The 8 of Pentacles in the reverse can kind of be about, so in the upright, the eight of coins is about kind of skill development. So sorry to like get my face all up in here close to you. I really don't want to be editing these readings because I know how long it'll take me if I do that. But the 8 of Pentacles, sometimes I get confused a little bit between the 7 and the 8 of Pentacles, but it's either about like perfectionism or self-development. Okay, sometimes you just go with what you think it is. So a sense of working on self-development, ideas of kind of perfectionism and sort of a misdirected activity. So in the present energy, you're feeling like you really want to move forward. In the above energy, what people are seeing, what you're consciously aware of, is that you have all of these choices that you can really choose from. And then you have the 8 of Pentacles in the reverse in your subconscious energy, which is really feeling like you're not necessarily sure which direction to take because your energy is active, but it might be feeling like a little bit misdirected. And you're kind of feeling like very perfectionistic about what you're doing. So working more on self-development rather than something that's necessarily, you know, out in the open so much. So that's, make sure I'm recording. So that's interesting, and I think that oftentimes, sometimes what's happening above is also what's happening below, but it can also be like every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Not that this is perfectly opposite of having a lot of options, but just like working on yourself and like being a little perfectionistic about where you might be going next. So it kind of makes sense that you're looking at all of these choices and like, which one should I go with, because you're really working to see which is the one that you really want, or are destined for. Sometimes what we want is not always like the destiny, so, you know, trying to reconcile those things. The advice right now is the Knight of Wands, which is great. I don't like to say great or not great about a reading, but it's interesting that it kind of matches your 8 of Wands energy in the present moment, because the Knight of Wands kind of has like a divine sort of energy around it, moving forward with passion, with this fire energy, really moving forward with passion and assuredness, and not wielding that, you know, sort of improperly. So moving forward with a passionate energy and a little bit more of a mature energy than the Page, a little bit more energetic than the King, but not necessarily as fully matured or whatever. Really, I like to kind of keep the reading simple sometimes when the actual word isn't popping out for me, but moving forward with passion and being supported in that. That is your advice, is to move forward with passion and keep doing what you're doing. The energy surrounding you right now is the Sun. I think the Sun is one of the easiest cards to interpret. It really is kind of about joy, optimism, innocence, things just being great, and not necessarily, you know, this very positive Sun-like Leo energy of confidence and passion. So you have a lot of passion kind of going on in this reading, even though it looks like you're not necessarily sure what the exact next step is. No one really ever does. So the energy surrounding you is sunshine and happiness. And the sun is also the summer solstice. The summer solstice is here. It's Cancer season. Cancer is the first of the water signs, really births the water season, and that's the summer solstice, the days that they're longest, the days that they're brightest, and that's also Scorpio water energy. So that's what's surrounding you right now, which is very helpful. In hopes or fears, I should probably choose which one I want to read this as, but hopes, and I think that sometimes they can be the same. So the hope and the fear is actually the death, the Scorpio card in reverse, and this can mean sort of like I see it as sort of like resisting some sort of inner transformation. Like you're at some sort of, this is a major arcana card, so it means something big is happening for you. Again, I don't think that cards in reverse is not a bad thing. That's just not how simple life is. But this can kind of be working on personal inner transformation rather than this outwardly, transformational experience, which would make sense with this below energy of the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, working on kind of self-directed activity. So working on inner transformation or resisting some sort of transformation. Or being at that point where you're not necessarily sure how to move forward with that transition kind of experience. And that would make sense with the above energy, which is the Seven of Cups, and having options. So sometimes, even though you're feeling like a lot of energy to move it forward, not necessarily sure which of the options to choose, but having an okay time thinking about that and standing in that for now. But resisting inner transformation or really like working on your own inner transformation. But a fear, I think for a Scorpio, this would make sense to kind of understand as like a fear, because Scorpios are the death card. They are about transformation and rebirth and regeneration, and so fearing that would be, a Scorpio, maybe feel at least a Scorpio sun or any major Scorpio placements feeling like they're not living up to their potential to continually transform. And then the outcome of all of this, if nothing were to change at the present moment, if this is a reading that seems to resonate for you, is the King of Swords in the reverse. So the King of Swords in the reverse, to me, kind of feels like it's really just like a cutting energy. When I think of Queen of Swords, King of Swords in the reverse, it's just like cutting. So it's a Gemini moon, the air signs are the swords. It's about truth and communication. Truth and communication and intelligence and thinking and honesty. And so the King of Swords in the upright is kind of like a person who really moves forward with a mature energy. They speak their truth. They help other people to communicate their truths. But in the reverse, it can kind of be somebody who's being sort of controlling with their words, controlling with their knowledge, and isn't necessarily using that to like benefit other people, but to gain like power from the power of words and connection and communication, and doing that sort of maybe like even in a biting way where you're actually like not necessarily always being nice to people. So that can be something that to kind of watch out for in this journey, because I see a lot of like passionate energy, which is so interesting because I do think that I feel like Scorpio has a very sort of fire-like energy to it. It is like a Mars planet. It's Mars and Pluto. But there's a lot of fire energy here, and then the energy surrounding you is a sunshine, more fire energy, and you have a lot of choices, but you're really working on like this personal experience. But this there is like a concern sort of that there's going to be a feeling of lost love or creative opportunity, a fear of not doing the transformational work you want to do, and then if you get bogged down in sort of this need to do this thing, and I think that's true of any sign at any time, then you can kind of like internalize a frustration or an upsettedness towards yourself and towards other people, and trying to find the truth. You can actually start to be very cutting in that experience, and then that is actually not being the truth. So human experience is really difficult, but just making sure that you stay open and not be always pushing yourself too hard in this direction of perfectionism, which Virgo's the earth sign does a lot, but I think Scorpios can really have this very perfectionistic side of things because they are a very sensitive sign, and so just making sure that you kind of keep yourself open to this above energy and the passionate energy, like saying you have a lot of options, which is so wonderful. Some people don't, and not at all times of their lives, but trying to make sure that you're not necessarily getting perfectionistic about that transformational experience that Scorpio always wants to be going through, because it's really important, but it's not the only thing. And it's not like I don't see any like amount of delay here about anything. You're really like moving forward with ideas and stuff, but just making sure that and I think Scorpios get a bad rap. They're not just mean cutting people, but that is what can happen with a Scorpio when that there's a sense of expectation, a sense of perfectionism, and a sense of wanting things to be in a certain way. And if it doesn't necessarily go that way, then that biting energy can really be something that happens a lot for Scorpio as well. So that's, just a general Scorpio reminder about not being mean. And I think the Gemini, and everyone can be mean, but I think one thing that I love about the Gemini archetype, and it's the Gemini moon right now, is a sense of kindness. So it doesn't always mean that Geminis are nice to any degree, but there is like this underlying kindness to the Gemini archetype. And so maybe taking that as a lesson of the current moon to like bring into this idea about it is important to be kind to people. Even if you don't like them, you don't want to be around them, just being cutting towards people is really something that you're not just doing negatively to that person, but also to yourself. So that's for that. But I love that this passionate energy and all of this choice, which I feel just goes along with Scorpio very easily as well. So getting some prism cards for Scorpio to help frame this reading, please. Some prism cards for Scorpio to help frame this reading. Some prism cards for Scorpio to help frame this reading. Some prism cards for Scorpio to help frame this reading. Okay, so what we have, the 6th, the 7th. Let me do it really quickly, sorry. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. That's 8th. I should know that. 8th. So let's get 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sometimes you gotta pull them out. Sometimes Scorpios go into hiding. So rest, fear, and reflection are the prism color cards. Rest, fear, and reflection. So just seeing this really quickly, it's interesting that I was talking about rest, because I'm not seeing any sort of energy here about rest, but I feel like rest is not necessarily the Scorpio plan, because Scorpio is the opposition to Taurus, which is really the rest archetype. But I was thinking in here like about rest for some reason, so it's interesting rest comes up. Fear is very much a Pluto archetype, so that makes sense for Scorpio. Maybe like reflection is what I want to I was wanting to say more than rest, but kind of reflection and rest can sometimes go together, and reflection kind of goes well with this wondering about our tendencies, about this passionate energy. Does it always turn out how we want it to turn out, and if not, what is happening along that process? And the 7 of Cups in the upright, which is very Cancer energy, water energy, Scorpio energy. So when cups come up, it's trying to tie it to the season and the sign. A period of reflection where you're looking at all these options and like wondering like which one, not in an overwhelmed way, but which one of these paths should I take? So for rest, because that's the first one that came up here, rest is essential for all beings. This card symbolizes the need for a little extra downtime to recharge. By giving yourself and your body the rest you need, you'll conserve the energy to achieve your goals with clarity and purpose. And so that's nice. So because you're moving forward with this very passionate energy, but it looks like kind of in the future, if things don't go according to plan, there's this feeling of lack or not having gotten where you wanted to go. So it's kind of like making sure that you rest along the journey with this, passionate fire energy of moving forward. Fear is here. So fear, this card is a call to summon the courage to face your fears while honoring them at the same time. Moments like these are often the most definitive in life, and act as the greatest teachers and catalysts for positive change. What is it that's holding you back? Why are you afraid? Sitting with these questions will help you tap into your power and greatest potential. Acknowledging and moving past your fears can bring you into greater sense of alignment with yourself and the world around you. So acknowledging fear, I think, is one of the strengths of Scorpio, but any high vibe can be a low vibe, and you can get, terrified by your fear as well, if you're a person who naturally kind of looks at that. And so the fear here is kind of like not fulfilling the potential of Scorpio, not going through that inner transformation. And so, what else did I want to say here? The greatest teachers, the Gemini moon is about learning about ourselves, about other people, about history, about everything. And this is a call to summon the courage to face your fears. And the energy surrounding you right now is the sun energy. So that's Leo, courage, heart, spine. So, it's a reminder, like, you have that courage behind you, that happiness. And, this isn't the courage card, but, the sun is associated with Leo. And so, having the courage to be able to face your fears, whatever those may be, and honor them at the same time. So that really, holding that balance, holding that tension of opposites. And then the reflection is, I've not gotten this card yet, but I liked this with the reflection card, because it seems like maybe there's something. Oh man, I hate wasting your guys' time. I'm sorry. Maybe I need to go through this and really check. This looks like a purple card to me. Sometimes. What is this in blue? This isn't the blue cards. Okay. Reflection. Some say that certain people or situations in your life act as mirrors that reflect back at you and teach you. Gemini moon. What that mirror reveals can act as a source of inspiration, encouraging you to move forward. All of this passionate energy, especially this Eight of Wands moving forward. You may not like what you see, giving you the opportunity to make some important changes in your life. This card is a reminder of the importance of taking time to reflect and partake in some deep self-inquiry, which Scorpios are wonderful at. What are the mirrors in your life trying to show you, and what can you learn from them? So I was getting sort of a sense here that this is kind of like an energy of Scorpio, of you guys like looking at yourselves, because you have that beautiful passionate energy, but I feel like the result is not necessarily always what you want, just like it's not for everybody. But there might be an expectation for Scorpio that this even though it's a transformational experience, like most of the Scorpios who I know have this bright, vibrant light about them, which is very kind of water sign archetype in general. But I was feeling here sort of like that's slowing down a little bit to at least think about what's going on in that breach between what we want and what we get sometimes. And so, this is a period of, using ourselves, using the people and our experiences as mirrors for ourselves. We're not always just doing things to other people. The world is mirroring ourselves back to ourselves, and that's how we learn, and that's how the world continues to grow as well. So just a couple, 22 minutes. I only want a couple tea leaf cards and then a Rumi card. A couple tea leaf cards, maybe like 3. 1, 2, I think that's 3. Thank you. Okay. Vine, seek out information that will help you. Family matters. Maybe something's going on with your family, and that's some of this energy I can't really pick up for myself because I don't know everyone's individual experience. And then a wish is granted. So whenever I see the 7 of Cups, I'm always thinking like it kind of looks like you're getting wishes from a genie or something. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be read, but some sort of wish is being granted. Something's going on with the family that you're working through. Seahorse, Cancer season, really I think kind of like crustacean type. Seahorse is not a crustacean, I don't think, but kind of water kind of vibes. And vines are very kind of Scorpio related. I see kind of like vines and like the swamp archetype of Scorpio, seeking out information that will help you about yourself or about other people. And just continuing to learn. So I hope some of this is helpful for you. I don't think you can always specifically tie it into what you're going through, but if something resonates for you, tarot readers are not supposed to, predict the future or anything. Like we make our futures, and we sometimes they're just used as kind of entertainment to help us think about something that we already want to be thinking about anyway. So I wonder if any of that resonates for you. And this one card for Scorpio. So Layla, 34 for the Rumi cards. The Rumi cards usually I have to it would take a long time to read too much, but I like to at least read the poem and then see what else we can get out. Put aside your clever schemes, O lover, be mindless, become mad, dive into the heart of the flame, become fearless, be like a moth, turn away from the self and tear down the house. It's very Scorpio energy. Then come and dwell in the house of love. Cancer season, be a lover, live with lovers. Clean your chest from all hostility, wash it 7 times. With the 7 of cups in the upright, in the above energy. Wash it 7 times, and cups, wash. Then fill it with the wine of love. Be a chalice for love, be a chalice. You must be all love to be worthy of the beloved. When going to the gathering of drunks, be a drunk, become drunk. Your thought takes a course, dragging you in its wake. Move beyond thought, let your heart lead, be the leader. When the grace of love is revealed, be a mirror to reflect it. Another, more mirroring. When the beloved's hair is loosened, brush it like a comb, be a comb. So this is really beautiful. It's like it's very transformational energy. Really diving deep into love is really big Scorpio archetype energy. Washing 7 times, free from hostility. Washing 7 times these cups, these choices, and being love. So making sure not to. Clear your chest from all hostility. Like the King of Swords in the reverse can be kind of like a hostile energy. So clear yourself from that hostility. Whatever you mirror from the world is you, and you are mirroring back to other people. And sometimes like taking that reflection time to see who we are through our interactions with other people can be a very moving journey. So we're at 25 minutes. Oh, beloved, how you are to be envied. And envy is just, so much associated with Scorpios. I think Scorpios can envy, but people also envy them. Envy and obsession. You're being given the gift of no self, no noise, no sense. Diving into that transformational experience that Scorpios do so well. The great beloved truly wants you to be closer than ever to the wild universal heart and that energy surrounding you, the sun, Leo energy, heart, courage. Who understands crazy words? I don't know if I like crazy in that context. But who understands wild words that fall out of your mouth, unchecked by logic or rationality? I do. I know the beloved too. I am under that same loving spell. I, like you, have no more I anymore. This oracle brings you a message. You are moving through a period of not knowing, of time, of not knowing. These 7 of cups in the above energy, not really knowing, having choice but not knowing, of time in the great void or womb of the Divine Mother. It is in this place the seed can crack open and take root. It brings you ancient wisdom. It guides you not to fear the darkness, but to enter into it willingly. It is not for you to become lost, but to find your way. This oracle is saying that in the darkness there is the path. Datariki Tarakat. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that. Do not turn away from it. Let it be. So you have this fear about resisting this transformational energy, but if you just kind of let it be and let it go, and whatever that means and mirrors back to you, that is the world learning from you and you learning from the world and learning about yourself, so that all of those other things can happen too. So that fear of not transforming, if you just kind of like let it go and you rest and you reflect and you use passionate energy, but also rest and reflect when you need to, maybe you can get to this next stage of the path that you are either wanting to be on, or that is, destined, and who knows the desire versus what destiny is and what that all is, but getting to that next stage with less suffering. And I think that that's always kind of the goal of everything we're doing, to transform, to rest when we need to, and to really minimize suffering, but learn from suffering when we can as well. So I hope some of that resonated for you, Scorpios, and thanks for joining today. All right, or whenever. Yeah, thanks for finding us today. Bye-bye.